in a practical fashion to the working population, be it corporates, be it small businesses, or even be it small groups of people starting with, say, 20 people upwards to even 500 to 600 people. Welcome to the fourth evening of our ongoing 5-day Yagna Smile, an interaction based on the Bhagavad Gita with Swami Swatmananda. Today's topic is loneliness to love. As always, we will begin with an invocation, and I request Mrs. Sujata Murli to chant the invocation. Sujata is the Secretary of Chinmaya Mission, South Mumbai, who is also an active study group member and an extremely dynamic Gita chanting coordinator. Sujata, please could you chant the invocation?
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Hullaravindaya Tapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadratha Jala Gandharani Lotpala Shalya Grahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Khalu Pandavairana Nadi Kaivartakah Keshava.
Milind, you are muted.
Milind, you're muted.
I'm sorry. As I was saying, we have been showcasing different activities of the Chinmaya Mission over the last few days. Today, we will share with you details of the Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, which is the youth wing of the Chinmaya Mission, and children and youth between the ages of 14 to 28. Founded way back in 1975 by Guru Chinmayananda, who truly believed in harnessing the power of the youth. Their motto is harnessing youth potential through dynamic spirituality. They're extremely well led by Swami Swatmananda himself. They use truly innovative ways to connect with the youth. In fact, we have a video which we would like to share with you, and maybe you could better understand their activities. Jagdish, please.
Adventure activities and treks in the rain, obstacle courses and treasure hunts across acres of land, midnight festival celebrations and Garba nights, planning and performing skits, intense debates over topics such as the existence of God and the relevance of our culture, meeting complete strangers and becoming best friends. Can you imagine all of these packed into 3 days? Well, there's one place that it can happen, and that's a chick camp. it's a one-of-a-kind experience that will make a whole weekend fly by. Ever since I began attending these camps, I have undisputedly had the best summers ever. There was so much to learn as everything in these camps was somehow connected to the richness of our scriptures. Being exposed to this at a young age, I was able to absorb a lot of this knowledge and imbibe what I learned into my personality.
Since the time I've joined my firm, I've been working really hard to align myself with the success of the firm. But however, in spite of all the hard work, I was never awarded with the designation I was looking for. So, as every individual, I really felt dejected and had a self of disbelief, am I really worth it? But coming to the Chinmaya mission and learning under the guidance of Swami sswatmananda, I learned that life is not an instant coffee. Certain things take time to grow and evolve. So you need to remain patient and be humble. So after some time, I started working even harder for the betterment of myself, because I thought that's my karma and I should not stop doing it. So after 2 long years, I was finally awarded the designation I was dreaming of. So the important thing to learn out of here is, at such times, never feel dejected. There are better things there for you. Life is always better when you look forward, and things are meant to grow for you and evolve for you eventually. So lastly, I would like to conclude by saying that every time I fall in life, I have learned to rise up mightier thanks to all the knowledge and support which is provided by Chinmaya Mission. Thank you.
I was introduced to Chick by my friend about 2 years ago. And the first thing I asked him was, look, what am I going to gain out of it? He said it grounded him, and a lot of his personality and thoughts were influenced by the learnings at Chinmaya Mission. I was confused because that was barely a straight answer. But he said, look, just come for a class or 2, and if you don't connect with it, then don't come. So I was like, all right, fine. So I went along for my first Chick study class with Swamiji. And I kept going back every week. Like, it came to a point where I looked forward, to every Tuesday at 7 p.m. After a few classes, when Swamiji, asked us, okay, which book would you like to study next? I said, Swamiji, let's study the Bhagavad Gita. And I think going back and looking back, that has shaped all our lives, in a very profound way. Because the Mahabharata is an epic which is relevant even today. Like when we study, Krishna's characters, Arjun's characters, Duryodhana's characters, Draupadi, Yudhishthir, and their state of mind, before and during the war, it's made me very conscious of how the human mind works. We have the same flaws even today. I think looking back, for me, the biggest realization has been that anxiety, doubts and stress are a part of and parcel of everyday life. But the way I deal with them is my choice. And this platform has only given me the resources to deal with things better.
I was a thumbsucker till about 22 years of age. Fairly late in my life, one would say. But for some reason, I was not able to let go of that habit. Till one fine day, while attending Swamiji's Chick study class, something hit me hard as usual, and that habit dropped overnight. Why am I saying this story? Chick is that platform that has given me and so many others a foundation to rely on.
I first came across Chick in 2014 when I was doing my PhD research on different organizations which helped youth to maximize their potential. And one such organization that I came across was Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, Chick. Little did I know at that time that I was going to be so fascinated by Chick programs that one day I would myself become a part of Chick. The programs were intensely well designed, very well executed, and the Chicks themselves were full of confidence, knowledge, clarity, and they were happy people. That's just how one would want the youth to be, right? On further study, I could see that such dynamism in youth was possible because there were so many opportunities for them to learn, serve and grow. There were camps, activities, plays, study groups, immensely different opportunities and platforms. Every youth could find at least one way that they could relate to. No one was forced to think or do anything in particular. Youth could question, ask, debate, discuss, and discover the right answers. I did not realize when I became part of CHIC, but I have been totally happy that this happened. I started participating in different activities and camps and plays and study classes. So much to learn in a very friendly and safe environment.
I'd like to share a small example. When a storm comes, the more solid a foundation of a tree, the more are its chances to stand that storm and stay rooted. But a weak foundation is going to take that tree away. As we grow up, we think that completing a graduation and getting a job is sort of an end of all the struggles that life has to offer. But sooner than later, you realize that struggle is sort of a synonym with life itself. And what CHIC has done is it has given me that anchor through its multiple facets, multiple opportunities to stay rooted, to stay firm, and fight life and offer my best at every crossroad, irrespective of what my circumstances are. There are dime a dozen wins and opportunities in CHIC here in Mumbai. It would be best to stay connected through our multiple social media platforms, be it on Instagram, be it on Facebook, or being in touch with anybody. I sincerely hope that you can make great use of this outstanding opportunity that gives one the wings to truly live a holistic and dynamic life. Thank you.
So like I said, they definitely do some very innovative work, and they do some interesting things to stay connected and rooted. Moving ahead, we thank you for your support and all our yajmans and our patrons that support us in our activities. If you would like to be a yajman, an Aarti yajman, or a satsang yajman for tomorrow, we will share a payment link in the chat box, and you could go ahead and become one with us. While we're at it today, I would like to thank today's yajmans, Mrs. Deepika Bakshi and Mr. Sunil Gambani, daily satsang yajmans. Thank you again for your support. Before we begin, I again request all of you to please stay mute and turn off your videos. So Swamiji is definitely not disturbed, and we can proceed with this evening's talk. Thank you, Swamiji. Over to you.
So Hari Om, everyone. Welcome to the fourth day, and our topic is loneliness to love. You know, one of the greatest pursuits of human life is love. We do many things because we want love. We want more and more people to love us, or we want some specific people to love us in some specific ways. We feel the longing for companionship. So love is something that everybody seeks, everybody pursues, everybody wants. And yet we find that love is a pursuit which fails maximum. There's a maximum demand for it, and yet there is maximum failure rate also. Why? Because we keep waiting for love. Vedanta tells us we have to go out and give love. So today we will trace this journey from loneliness to love. How do we move from that state of loneliness to love? Where we keep feeling lonely, we keep feeling, in spite of people being there, we still feel nobody loves me or people don't love me enough. So let us see. Okay. So loneliness to love. Now, as human beings, we all have a very special gift, and that is called the gift of the intellect. this buddhi that we have, through that buddhi, we have self-awareness. And that buddhi also brings choice. So each moment we have a choice of how to respond. What happens to us, we may not have choice, but how to respond, we have a full choice. Why is that choice there? Because we have a buddhi. And when we have a buddhi, then we are able to think, and it is that very buddhi which also brings a sense of separation. When we are sleeping, deep sleep state, when we are there, there is no sense of separation. So there is no loneliness, there is no question of, feeling insecure, because buddhi is not active. But the moment we wake up and our intellect rises, we feel I am different, world is different, God is different, there's a duality. So now I am different from the people, from the beings, from the things in the world. Now there's a sense of individuality that has risen. This sense of individuality is what creates separateness. So though we have a freedom, that freedom also has a certain consequence in the sense that we feel separate. It has a positive connotation that each of us are unique. We can use our free will, we can manifest our potentials. That is one aspect. But it is also the same sense of individuality which makes us feel I am a separate individual psychologically. I'm not talking functionally. Functionally, of course, we all are separate. But psychologically, we feel we are separate from all. We don't feel we are one with everything. So when we feel psychologically different from others, see, it is a natural state. There's nothing wrong about that. But we can transcend this sense of separation and experience a state of oneness. Like our body, various parts of the body are different from each other, but we feel I am all these. Same way, we can feel this whole universe. We are one with the whole universe. And yet we can function like hand and legs are not different. Each one is doing their own job. Same way, each of us can be doing separately our own things. But our sense of psychological identification will not limit to one individuality. It will expand. So the moment I feel this sense of individuality and this separation rises in the mind, one feels lonely. Also, one sees around that, things are temporary, things change so fast, relationships change so fast. People who were loving us, their love decreases, or sometimes they just dump us and go. How sad is that? And nowadays people get dumped on a text message. Look at the condition where we have come to. They just say bye-bye. We are done. That's it. Relationship gone. So we see things changing. We see things, people dying also. So suddenly our loved ones, near and dear ones, they depart. So when we see all these things, that relationships are very ephemeral, that can strengthen our sense of loneliness. In the Adhyatma Ramayana, Vedavyasji wrote Adhyatma Ramayana. So he wrote Mahabharata also, and he wrote Adhyatma Ramayana. Adhyatma Ramayana is the Vedantic interpretation and the Vedantic way of Ramayana. The symbolism of Ramayana is beautiful. The inner significances are fantastic. And how Ramayana is happening right within us. That is called Adhyatma Ramayana. There he gave a very powerful analogy, and he said, just like a stream, when the stream is flowing, there are pieces of straw which have fallen into the stream, and they travel together for some time, and after some time they depart. In the flow of the stream, they just depart. They move away from each other. And he gave that analogy to say relationships are like that. In the flow of life, for some time we come together, we travel, then we depart. Maybe some karma is there, again we may come together. So when we see this happening, our mind becomes sometimes insecure. So we tend to cling more, or we tend to make more attachments. And in spite of whatever it may be, wealth, power, position, anything, we still feel lonely. So when the great masters, they analyze this fact that why is it that we feel lonely? It is because of this sense of separation that has created this isolation, and that makes us have fear, anxiety, worries. Because when I'm absorbed and I'm not aware of this individuality, there is no sense of loneliness or isolation. It could be in work, it could be with nature, it could be in a relationship, it could be any time where my individuality is completely, at least for some time, dormant. Deep sleep is one state, samadhi is another. So there are many states, many ways in which the individuality gets submerged. For some time, we don't feel the sense of I very strongly. A musician loses oneself in music, an artist in painting, a cricketer while playing cricket, a homemaker while cooking, or any such activity. See, a devotee while praying. So whenever this small I goes away, we don't feel loneliness. So what the great masters, they said is, this is the secret. How to consciously let go of this small I in day-to-day life while we are living, so that we don't feel the sense of loneliness. Loneliness does not go by having more and more and more people with us, because loneliness has nothing to do with quantity. It has to do with my individuality. If I feel insecure, I feel lonely, I feel threatened, I feel that, I must prove myself all the time. If I have not accepted myself as I am, if I need validation, approval, I need appreciation, then I will feel lonely. And also it is a fact that I may have many people to love me. I may have lots of people who follow me, who subscribe to me, or who, express their love to me, but I may still feel lonely. Why? Because some specific person, some specific relationship where I want certain things that are not happening, my mind is stuck. Now the notion is, I'm not good enough. So loneliness has nothing to do with people. Loneliness has to do with my sense of I, ego, my attachments, my expectations. Unfortunately, we think that loneliness is because I don't have enough people in life, or I don't have that one or two quality people who can just love me completely. See, why do we feel happy when we find somebody like that who loves us completely? We feel happy because at that time we feel completely accepted. We don't have conflict with ourselves. Even though there may be certain things in us which need improvement, but for that time, in their love, we have accepted ourselves as we are. So we feel happy. If we are able to just analyze this and understand, then we will come to know that actually I don't need to feel lonely at all. If I learn to accept myself and love myself well, self-love is a very important aspect. And then I learn to drop this small individuality, lose myself in whatever I'm doing. That state of dropping identification with this individuality is called love. Then I will not have loneliness. So this sense of separation is there right from childhood. If we become aware of this, then we will come out of it. Many people don't become aware of it. They live a whole life like that. So Vedanta says in Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said, Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Duality rises, fear rises from duality. The moment there is two, there will be fear. When there is only one, there is nothing to fear. So the point here is that when we understand this as the root cause, that how to sublimate this ego and this individuality, that is the key. It is not about trying to change people, telling them how they should love me. It is not about getting more people to love me. It is not about getting, the changing oneself to fit somebody's thinking, so that we feel that when I do that change, then they will love me better. I'm not saying we cannot adjust or we should not change ourselves. All I'm saying is that the approach is how I can let go of my individuality, then express the love. That is what we are going to see as we go along. So in this book called I Love You, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya gave such a beautiful description of this whole journey. From loneliness to love. If you want to know the whole journey, read that book, I Love You. There's no better book I found till now. You can find it on the chinmayamission.com website online. Some of you may have read it also. Though it is written that letters for children, but what Gurudev has written there is most applicable to all of us. And the beautiful aspect is he is giving this knowledge to the children. And children also are receiving it. He is writing from Uttarkashi where he was in a retreat. He wrote to all the Balvihar Sevikas and he told them, read this for my children and explain this to them. What was his vision of what kind of children should be there in our country? This knowledge of how to love is given right in the young age. They grow up to be strong. So now, what did he say in that? He said when the child is in the womb, the child has not developed the sense of individuality. There is a sense of oneness with the mother. Physically also the mother is nurturing the child. And there is a complete sense of identity with the mother. Then the child is just born. Still the sense of individuality is not developed. And that's why when one looks at a child, looks so innocent, so lovely, so cute. Slowly the sense of separation starts. That is called child ego. So the mother wants the child to eat at a particular time. Child says, I will not eat. Mother tells the child, you sit here. Child won't sit. The mother tells the child, come on, let's go take a bath. The child doesn't want to take a bath. So many examples like that where the child ego rises. Why? Because the individuality of the child is now asserting, I am an individual in my own right. I will do what I like. So the individuality has started now. And that is what we see in the rebellions of a teenager also. So it is said that when we are children, we ask the question, why? So, mommy, tell me why it is raining. Tell me how the birds are chirping. Tell me how the trees are, blooming. Trees are growing. How the flower is blooming. Everything. Why? Tell me why. Then, when we become teenagers, then what happens? The child tells the parent, Mom, why tell me? I know everything. Don't give me gyan. So, as a child, one says, tell me why. As a teenager, one says, why tell me? And as one has grown, one comes to middle age, then one wonders, tell, why me? Why this happened to me? So, these are rebellion of a teenager. Sometimes one takes it very personally. The parent feels offended. The parents start doubting, did I bring up my child properly or not? Have faith in your upbringing. If you have done well, then the rest is the child's prarabdha. Be there to support, be there to help, but don't doubt your own upbringing of the child. Experimenting nature of the youth. Youth want to experiment. Sometimes they may take impractical decisions also and they may fall also. But they want to make that mistake. They don't want anybody to be overprotective on them. Attachments of the adults. We easily get attached to so many things. So all these are expressions of loneliness, not expression of loneliness, expressions of individuality. And when the individuality is very strong, there will be certain sense of loneliness, certain sense of isolation. So one really wants to escape from that. And so there are so many methods of escaping from loneliness. Different routes human being has carved out. Thousands of ways to run away from this sense of loneliness. Because what one is trying to do unconsciously is the same thing. But because I don't know, I just want to forget myself and escape from loneliness. I'm not understanding if I sublimate the ego once and for all, the job is over. So whether it is recreation clubs or, a lot of people in the evenings after finishing their work, they go and spend some time in a club or they go to disco or party or dance or, any entertainment. Nothing wrong with any of it by itself. But why do we do? Because we want to forget this sense of separation and this sense of loneliness. We can't handle ourselves all by ourselves. We have to be with people or engage in something. Mind has to escape. So to escape, we find various methods. Some are these. Some people even escape. They can't face the sorrows. They can't face challenges. They feel weak. They can't handle guilt. Suppose they have made some mistake or they have failed in something. Now, why is it that human being can't face failure? Why is it that we are not able to learn from it and face it square on? Because we don't like ourselves at that time. And we want to escape from that feeling, I don't like myself. So we search escape routes. So people take to drugs, smoking, drinking, various substances. And it is projected also. If your girlfriend leaves you and goes away, take a bottle, become one Devdas. Arey, there are better options in life, Baba. Just because they show in the movies, we don't have to fall for it. No, I want to forget all my sorrow. Come on, let's do drugs. And worst, what we have come to today, father and son will sit together and drink. If son has gone through disappointment, and they will say, let us, they will drink together. Or if a breakup has happened, nowadays people do breakup party also. They break up with each other and then they throw a party saying we have broken up. There is sorrow inside, but they want to have a breakup party. So many escape routes. Why can't we just face that aspect, learn and evolve out of it? Or we cling in relationships. We become very possessive because we are lonely. If we are not lonely, we will not become possessive. The true nature of love is that freedom. Or we want to conform to a group or a community or a social group or a peer group. We want to belong. By itself, I am saying all this, nothing wrong, except this drug, smoking, etc. That is by itself also wrong. But otherwise, conforming to a group or, trying to learn something new or going to a club or a movie or any such thing, by itself, there is nothing wrong with that. But if I do it as an escapism, then there is a problem. Including for some people, spirituality becomes an escape. Celebrations, festivals, rituals, ceremonies, so many things by which one just escapes from this sense of separation. So the rishis, when they analyzed, they said the root cause of the problem is this sense of I. If this I can be sublimated properly, and how will this I sublimate itself? Only when we invoke true love. And so, how to end this sense of separateness? Through love. Discover the fusion in love. True love is that where I can forget myself. That is true love. Not through a tamasic way, temporary. By ensuring that my sense of ego becomes lesser and lesser and finally it sublimates fully. Surrenders and gone. It is not a temporary escape where again the ego comes back, again I have to escape, not that. So discover the fusion through love, because that's the only solution. Loneliness is because I don't love myself and I'm not able to give love. So the solution is love yourself, then let go of the individuality and experience what is true love. Go out and give love, don't wait. Now the difficulty is this, to love and to be loved is the greatest joy of existence. All of us want to be loved, but all of us are waiting also to be loved. So the point here is that we go on waiting. Somebody will love me, whole life goes also like that. Or sometimes we lose faith in love. Just think about it. 2, 3, 4 breakups happen or relationship may some issues happen, then says, I've lost all faith in love. So we let go of the capability to love. We doubt love. We don't think that true love exists. Why? Because of some issue in the relationship, because of somebody's loneliness, somebody's insecurity. My nature, which is actually true love, my nature meaning each one of us, our nature is to be really loving. But now we have created so many confusions in our mind that we don't feel, we lose faith in love, we lose faith in the whole aspect of relationships, then it becomes all the more lonely. So again, that's a vicious circle. I feel lonely, so I don't give enough love. I become clinging, I become possessive, or I get love, but I am not able to be happy with that. So the other person feels, how much can I keep doing? I know you just don't get satisfied. And finally, some strain happens in the relationship. So again, I'm lonely. Now see that cycle, it goes on. So what is important is to learn to let go of this small I. That's the key solution. And to experience in the mind the vision of oneness, that we all are one. In spite of all our differences, we are still one. You know, Puja Gurudev gave a very beautiful explanation of this through the example of the body itself. So I'm just going to share that here.
In order to develop this love, which is natural for everyone in yourself, from top, the crown, to the tip of your toe, you love you, isn't it? Even though the hands are not the legs are not the toes are not the fingers, the finger is not like the nose is not like the ears. Every part is different in shape, in name, and in function. What the eyes can do, the ears cannot do. What the nose can do, the tongue cannot do. They have got different functions. What the hands can do, the leg can never do. Within me, myself, there are so many different shapes, forms, purposes, or functions. And yet, am I not one? From the tip of the toe to the top of my crown, am I not one? How do you feel that is oneness? The hand is not the leg is not the thumb is not the nose, and yet I say is one. How? I pervade every cell in me. You may be 250 pounds, 6-footer with 60 chest. And if I bring a pin and say that for what you have done, we have decided that the pin must be put in, you choose, because democracy, you choose where it should be put. Right? In that huge body, this little pin, you cannot choose any place. You choose every place and say, no, 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 no. Until at last you say, if you must put the pin, why not try it on my neighbor? Why? Because every cell you love equally, because you know that it is me. Within your body you have got the feeling. In your body also. It is very often happens that your own finger goes to your own eyes. Has it not happened to you? Have you not beaten your own tongue? Even if you are the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, sense of justice, will you say that this finger unnecessarily went and hit the eyes? The eyes was always serving the finger whenever it was doing any work. It's unprovoked aggression. Isn't it? Like Sadat, let us go and chop off the finger as an example for the entire body politic, that there must be discipline in the body. Will you say that? When it is your own finger that goes to your eyes, immediately all the 5 fingers together as a committee goes to the eyes and start rubbing it and silently saying, I am sorry, I never meant it. Isn't it? The eyes, though watering, it is red, but it cannot even open the eyes. But I open the eyes and look at the finger and silently say, I know it, and I forgive my finger, isn't it? Supposing it is the finger of the man who is sitting next to you came in your eyes. your sense of justice is cut his finger off. Let him learn how to. Why? He is something different from it. My friends, when you start really analyzing it, the whole world is your body. Just as every cell in you is so sacred, every living being in the outer world, every mineral piece in the world outside is a part of you. It is not anything other than you. With this understanding, when comes a sense of goodwill towards all living beings, that they are not separate from me, service then becomes not a service before self or after self. It will be service as when my, let us say, calf muscle is scratching. My hand goes and scratches. Does the hand ever say, leg, if you have got scratching, you scratch. Why should I do it? What will you give me for scratching? No, I run there and do it, isn't it? Why? The joy of that is the joy of the whole body. It is not only the leg, but it is the hand also. The comfort comes to the hand also. In the same way, wherever there is sorrow that I see, I run there and try to remove and wipe off as much as possible the tears of others, not because they are others, but they are my own sorrow. If this universal vision has come, and this is what Vedanta asks you, all the devotees are seeing Ram everywhere, meaning that one reality everywhere. Once you see that, the sense of plurality goes away. These distinctions at national level or communal level or even individual level was all wiped out into one divine presence. With this unfoldment in yourself, you shall find that the world is preserved. Even now the world is not destroyed. Only you create a destruction for yourself in the world. That is all. You make a hell of this world, but the world is staying there. If you stop doing this mischief, the world will reorganize itself. Learn to serve others without selfishness.
So that was what Puja Gurudev said, such a beautiful video where he says how we feel the sense of oneness with the whole body. Same way, that is the true nature of love. How we learn to love, letting go of my ego, experiencing this whole vision that you and I are not different. The objective of love is that. So how does it start? It will start with loving oneself. If I feel happy about myself, I am feeling good about myself, then I can extend and accommodate everybody in that feeling that we all are one. But if I don't feel good about myself, then there's a big problem. So I learn to love myself, accept myself as I am. And that's why Gurudev said very beautifully, once he was given a postcard that had a beautiful scenery of a sunset and the oceans and the waves, and there was a single bird that was flying. So he turned over the postcard and he gave an autograph. And what did he say? From alone to alone, all alone. That's such a beautiful line that he said. From alone, from ego, which is alone, which is lonely in that sense, to the alone, absolute truth. All alone is the journey. Each of us are unique. We have to walk our own journey. At the same time, we can realize that there is only one absolute truth and we are all expressions of that one absolute truth. So why hate each other? Why fight with each other? In Hindi, there is a beautiful couplet which says, Tujhme Ram, Mujhme Ram, Sabme Ram samaya hai. Kar lo jag mein pyar sabhi se, koi nahi paraya hai. एक ही माँ के हम सब बच्चे, एक ही पिता हमारा है. ना जाने किस मूर्ख ने फिर लड़ना हमें सिखाया है. How much violence happens in the world? My goodness, how many people are killed? How many beings are killed? How much we have exploited nature and created what all problems? Why? Because ego, acting out of ego. The only altar at which the ego sublimates is the altar of love. So learn to be alone, learn to be by yourself, be happy by yourself. Then we can really learn the art of giving love. So accept yourself, love yourself, and don't entertain this poor me syndrome. I am a bichara, I am a poor me, nobody cares for me. This poor me syndrome is terrible. Victimization syndrome is horrible. It doesn't allow me to expand. Look at the lives of great people. The heights of exploitation and causing pain is when Jesus is crucified. But on the cross, what does he say? Forgive them, they know not what they do. That's the highest expression of love. That when he is crucified also, he says, oh Lord, forgive them. That's love. So the point here is that he didn't say, poor me, I did so much for the well-being of everybody and now they are only crucifying me. All the great masters, people have done all that only to them. But they have never complained, criticized. They were happy because they are anchored in the source of love. They have let go of the ego. They don't look at situations from ego standpoint. So we should love ourselves, accept ourselves, because Gurudev said one very nice thing. He said, if you cannot enjoy your own company, why inflict it on others? Think about it. If I can't tolerate myself, so I want to escape and I want to do 20,000 things, why inflict it on other people? My company. They are better off without me in that sense. So if I have learned to accept myself as I am, I can improve myself, but I don't feel I am unworthy, I am useless, I am worthless. I enjoy my company. I will keep growing, evolving. Then I can go out and love. So what exactly is love? See, there is this word love has become so exploited, you see. Crush is called love. Some people have crush when they look at an actor or they look at some, beautiful lady or some handsome person or some great sports star. Oh, they have a crush. Or infatuation. School boy, girl see each other, they are infatuated. They don't know anything about each other. Or there's some infatuation or some attraction. So crush is there, infatuation is there, attraction is there. And some people think even attachment is love. To cling, to possess, to all the time, hold on to one person. Why? Because I really love you. You are my life. Without you, I can't live. That is attachment. That is not love. So what exactly is love? And the word love is also restricted to only a romantic type of a relationship. Love can be for everything. Love for nature, love for music, love for art, love towards parents, love towards siblings, so many, love towards country. But we have narrowed down that word love to so many things. Such a narrow thing that it has become very restricted. Gurudev's definition of love is beautiful. He said, love is identification with the beloved. When the two become one, that is called love. Meaning when we lose our sense of individuality and we become one with the beloved in our mind. No, Swami, I may do that, but that opposite person is not doing that. If you genuinely love, what you find the joy in the act of loving only. Why are you waiting for the opposite person? And if you love, if you find joy in the very act of giving love, then we don't wait if that person gives love me in this way or that person has to return love in this way. No, I just enjoy loving. Whether the person responds or not or doesn't respond the way I want, it doesn't matter at all. Because I love loving. Fall in love with love. That's the best thing. Actually, that is not called falling in love. That is actually called rising. So love itself. Love loving. If I love to love, I have arrived. If I don't know how to love, then I wait for people. I wait for things, and I wait for, and I have to have some pet also. I'm not saying don't have pets, but people really want something to love. And because they want love in return. But if I love the very act of loving, I find joy in that. Bas. All the great masters, they fell in love with love itself. So they just go on loving. Whether we love them or not, their response is only love. Their response doesn't change. So love is that which helps us to let go of the ego. When a parent loves the child, how much parent sacrifices for the child? That time they are not thinking, why should I do for this child? Because they see oneness, and it is me. Somebody who loves music does so much to sacrifice to be in that state where one is able to play the music or listen to music. Somebody who loves the country. How many great people sacrifice their life also for the country? Even today they are doing. Because they love the country. So love is that in which there is tremendous joy. I'm not saying that only sacrifice and difficulties are there in love. If I find the joy in loving itself, I'm done. I don't need any other. Desperation will not be there. Loneliness will not be there. And hence it is that this is what we have to learn. So in that book, I Love You, Gurudev gives 3 levels of love. He says Sneha is the first level of love, where one is able to love because of externalities. Because somebody is handsome, someone is beautiful, someone is rich, somebody is talented, somebody is successful, one loves. You know, one girl, she told the father, Daddy, I love such and such boy. Can I marry him? So the father said, does he have money? So the girl said, you all men are same thing. You all men are same, because that boyfriend also is asking the same thing. Do you have money? So the boy is loving the girl because of money. One girl told the boy that, will you marry me even if the father doesn't give money? So the boy said, yeah, I will marry you. Even if your uncle gives the money, it's okay. Whom is he really loving? He's loving the girl or the money? Think about it. So the point is, Sneha is where it is a lower form of love. Looking at some money, some physical form or some achievements, then one says, oh, I love. In that, externality is more important. Prema is a higher form of love, where one loves the person for the values, for the way they are, for their emotions, appreciating the person as a person. They may have certain limitations externally, financially, socially, whatever, but we love completely the person. Where we go beyond appearances, we go into the deeper aspect of the person. It may not be just person, it can be anything, or anyone, or even the country, even a cause. One small girl. So they were brothers and sisters. The brother is elder, the girl is younger. So this girl is very small, hardly some 3.5 years old. Now the boy was suffering from some disease, and the boy needed a blood transfusion. And he is from a very rare blood group. And only this girl has that blood group. They tried to find out, they couldn't find. This girl has that blood group. They asked the girl, will you donate little blood? So that girl thought for some time. And then that girl said, okay, for my brother, I will do. So she sat down, she lied down, and they took out some blood. And after a few minutes, when the doctor came, to ask the girl, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? So this girl asked the doctor, doctor, tell me when will I die? So the doctor said, why will you die? He said, you took my blood, no, so I will die. The doctor said, no, don't worry, you will not die. The blood will get generated in your body. But the parents who were there, they were very touched because this girl thought that if she gives the blood, she is going to die, but she came forward to give. That is the love she has for the brother. Simple example, but really touching that how sometimes people think. And that is love. How much one sacrifices, one is ready to give, one appreciates the relationship, the person. Prema is higher form of love. Higher than prema also is bhakti. Why? Because in bhakti, that is the highest form of love. All duality ceases completely once and for all. Where one realizes my nature is love itself. I don't need to ask for love. I don't need to wait for love. I don't need to feel now and then some altar should be there where I let go of my ego. Because my true nature is my swarupa is prema. I don't need more from outside. Infinite love is our true nature. That is called bhakti. Bhakti is not that some Bhagwan is out there and I have to keep singing bhajans for that Bhagwan. That is a means. But when that individuality is dissolved completely, one realizes oneness with the Supreme, that person actually can love unconditionally. So our deepest demand is for unconditional love. We want to be loved at all times as we are by people. But that true demand for unconditional love can be fulfilled only by Bhagwan. That's why Vivekananda said, the finite can never truly love the finite, only the infinite can love the finite. Which means what? How much ever I may try to love, how much ever prema I may engage in, which is a good thing, unconditional love is not possible. Because as long as ego or individuality is there, somewhere or the other, there will be a challenge. Selfishness will come. My capacity to love will be limited by that. But when I let go of that completely in bhakti, then my love becomes unconditional. That's how people like Jesus and all these great other masters. Mirabai loved Krishna so much. She left the palace and everything. Because she didn't want any obstruction to her love for the Lord. Tulsidas ji, Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, Andal, Anandamayi Ma, look at the lives of all these people. In their presence, we feel completely accepted, loved, peaceful, happy. Why? Because they have dissolved their ego completely. So there is one absolute infinite truth which is in our heart, which is manifesting as all this. So they experience that. So loneliness to aloneness is our journey. When we say loneliness to love, love happens when there is absolute oneness. Even at a simpler level, when there is oneness, we just saw how love happens. Mother and child, devotee and the Lord, patriot and the country, musician and the music. Where they feel one, then there is love. This is the highest, where there is only absolute oneness. So loneliness to love is the same as loneliness to aloneness, because the state of aloneness is the state of true love. So love is there in our hearts. Where we channelize, that is up to us. Whether it is in sneha. Sneha literally means that which binds. So there is a lot of attachment. Snigdha means that it is sticky. Like, oil. Very sticky. Or gum, very sticky. But prema is free. Free means one loves the beloved for the beloved, not for oneself. One girl, one mother asked the boy that, you love this girl, you are telling me. So, tell me, why does the girl love you? So the boy said, because the girl thinks I'm handsome, I'm young, I'm dashing. And the mother said, now you tell me, why do you love the girl? And the boy says, because she thinks I am young, I am dashing, I am handsome. Think about it. Is that true love? He is loving the image that she has about him. If she thinks that image is, if she changes that image in her mind, this will change the girl. That's how temporary relationships are. And how much in the world people just make, break, and they don't want to commit. They are scared of commitment because love is hard work. Why it is hard work? Because I have to let go of my ego. And letting go, human being doesn't want to do. Even you see so many of these adventure sports, some of these adventure sports are such that people don't want to let go. You see, rappelling, if they have to do, they have to come rappelling down the rock or a rappelling board. So they have to bend behind and they have to let go of the rope. Or they have to do bungee jumping or, this skydiving. In all that, there's a letting go happening. And that letting go human being doesn't like. Human being likes to cling. So love is hard work. I don't want to let go of my ego. I don't want to open up to people. I don't want to show my true side to people. So I'm happy to keep having what they call flings and flirting. I don't want to have deep commitment. And is it not that people are talking all that today? How can you spend one whole life with just one person? One can have multiple partners, multiple people. All that is shallow thinking in that sense. Why? Because I am just escaping. The deep demand in me for love, for belonging, for acceptance will not be fulfilled because it is my ego that is a problem. And I'm not letting go of that ego. In a deeper relationship, slowly from sneha, it may start, but it will come to prem if I allow that to happen. And my vulnerable side also will come out. My attachments, aversions, plus, minus, everything will open up. And that is what true love is, to be able to accept myself as I am and help other person. And through their feedback, help to improve myself also. That is hard work. That is love. That is prema, where we love each other in spite of what the plus and minus each of us have. It is not called unconditional love. Unconditional love happens when there is bhakti alone. That's a myth to think that, people should just love me as I am and they should not object to who I am. That is not called unconditional love. You may have a weakness, the opposite person may point it out to you. You accept it with humility and still love them. That is called unconditional love. You don't become upset and angry and rude and you don't tell them, who are you to tell me? You don't put up the shields again towards that person and block don't allow them to see who you are. Then that is blocking. Unconditional love is we learn to love each other, accept each other as we are, with the plus and with the minus, both. And help each other to grow. Where my love for you does not depend on what you do for me. That is called unconditional love. But the intensity, the expression of love will change. Unconditional love does not mean that, go on loving, no matter what that person does, don't say anything that displeases that person. Why? Because I have to unconditionally be loving. There's a wrong notion of unconditional love. If you don't tell the person properly that what that person is doing is wrong or how that person can improve, then you are harming that person. Then that is not true love. That is operating out of fear. That if I tell something, this person will leave me and go, so I won't tell anything. Then that is acting out of fear. And this is one thing which most of the time we get stuck with, is fear. Opposite of love is not hatred. Opposite of love is fear. Because fear prevents me from truly loving. Fear prevents me from letting go of my ego. Fear prevents me from learning to open up. I'm not saying open up to every person, but at least in close relationships, open up, be transparent. How much masking is going on in this world? In close relationships, they don't want to tell the truth to each other. They want to hide from each other. Then which relationship will you tell the truth? No, Swamiji, I will die by keeping the truth in my own heart. Okay, die then. What else can I do? Then one feels suffocated because I am not opened up to people. I am fearing so much. This is amazing. It is how much people just get caught up in their shell. Love helps to break out of the shell, but to get more love, people want to go more into their shell. What a stupid thing that is. How is that possible? It is just it's just amazing how contradicting the human mind is. So open up, let people know who you are as you are. If they go, they will go. Why cling? That's only out of fear that we act, so they cling to us. So we cling, or we have a certain image about ourselves. Truly, what is very difficult to do in this world is to genuinely love and to genuinely just open up. At least one or two people in our life should be such. Whether it's a spouse relationship or for a student, it is with the teacher. Just open up as you are and see how beautiful things happen. No, Swamiji, they may take advantage. I'm not saying don't be cautious. Open up appropriately. Suddenly nobody is saying open up to strangers. Use Vivek. Now, who is telling you don't use Vivek? Love is not at all blind. Love has enough Vivek. You have to use Vivek and emotion together. So that way we rise slowly in love when we open up. We learn to let go of our inhibitions. We learn to let people in and help them to help us. In love, two people can support each other to grow. That's the beautiful aspect about love. Like a doctor, you have to allow the doctor to treat the wound. You can't tell the doctor, don't open up my wound. Then you can't get healed, Baba. So, rising in love means from sneha to prema to bhakti, slowly we rise. And truly speaking, if I cannot open up to people, how will I open up to Bhagavan? How will I open up to Guru? How will I open up to spiritual aspects? One young person, he went to a Zen master and he said, "Oh master, I have left everything and come. Please teach me what is Zen." He wants to know what is the truth. Okay. So the master said, "You are young. Have you ever loved anybody?" So this young boy said, No, I have not fallen in these confusions called love. It's a big confusion. I don't want to fall in this confusion. I want to know the truth. He said, "Have you loved any girl?" He said, "No." "Have you loved any pet?" He said, "No, I don't have pets at all." "Do you have any siblings? Have you loved any siblings?" He said, "No." "Do you have friends whom you have loved? Is there any one person who is very close to your heart? Have you loved that friend?" He said, No, I am very detached. I don't have such attachments in life." "Have you really loved your parents at least?" He said, "Parents are there. I respect them, but I don't have any attachment to them. So I've left them also and I have come here." You know what the Zen master said? He said, "Go first love, then come here. You cannot know truth until you know how to love. At least love somebody, one person you love where you are able to let go, where that person is more important to you than you. Family life is meant for that. Such a beautiful growth happens in family life if we have the right vision. That we learn to let go of our ego, whether it is with parents, whether it is with siblings, whether it is with spouse, whether it is with our children or any other relationship. Operating out of love is what we have to learn, not operating out of ego. And how much one goes on acting out of ego and fighting with each other, and what can be a means to develop love and let go of the ego becomes a means to strengthen the ego. So that is how things happen in the world. But in Vedanta, when we come to spiritual knowledge, we start understanding, let me learn to let go of the ego. These are practical applications of Vedanta in daily life. If I am studying Vedanta, I come down from some pedestal of ego where I'm sitting, become humble, become loving. So if I become a spiritual student, have I become loving, more loving in my life, more sensitive to people's needs, more caring, more sacrificing, and more joy is there in giving love. So it's not a pain, I have to keep loving, or well, that person is not loving me. All that calculation goes. So now how do we express love and how do we grow in our relationships? A few pointers we will just discuss. See, self-acceptance I already said. Second is learn to accept people also as they are. It's very strange, you know. If I give you a lemon, will you expect that lemon to be very, very sweet? No, lemon will be sour, it will be khatta. Karela, do you expect Karela, to be very sweet? No, it will be bitter. Do we expect that a lion will eat grass? Generally, it will not. If it has some stomach issue, then it may, but otherwise it will not. Do we expect a bird to roar like a tiger? No. A bird is a bird, tiger is tiger, lemon is lemon. We are able to accept fruits, vegetables, plants, trees, birds, animals as they are, but we don't accept people as they are. What a funny thing that is. People have their plus and minus. We'll have to learn to accept them as they are, but we want them to be the way we want. Now that is a problem. And the contradiction in that is we don't want people to control us, but we want to control people. I will not behave the way people want me to behave, but I want people to behave the way I want them to behave. How strange is that? So first thing is, can I learn to accept people as they are? They are individual, independent entities. Accept them with their plus minus as they are. Love and space, they go together. Khalil Gibran said a beautiful line. He said, we are like the strings in a lute. Each string is different from each other, but they are together in the lute. That's how the music happens. Or the temples, the pillars of the temple stand apart, yet they are together to support the whole temple. Beautiful explanation, analogies he gave when he spoke about marriage. Some of you may have read it. If you have not read it, go and read Khalil Gibran's Prophet. Most beautiful. So love and give space. Krishna gave so much of knowledge to Arjun, and at the end what did he say? Did he impose himself? No. He said, Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Arjun, it is your choice, your life. You do what you are convinced by. That's it. So accept people, give them their space, understand people, don't judge them. Why they are doing certain things, we have to try to understand. If we just brand them, no, this person is like this only, and we write off, or we create a prejudice in our head, then that is not a mature way. We should try to find out and understand or ask, communicate that why certain things are being done. Maybe that person has certain apprehensions that is making that person act in a certain way. Gurudev used to say, in life, to handle others, use your heart, but to handle yourself, use your head. Meaning, don't be critical towards other people. Find if there are certain limitations, explain to them. But have more compassion, empathy, try to understand why they are doing certain things. That is an important aspect. Empathy. Then see the goodness in others. Before we start finding fault, our mind starts finding fault very easily. Consciously, we have to train the mind to see what is the good, what are the good aspects in that person. Those of you who are still seeing me on the Instagram, it will stop in 5 seconds. If you want to listen, continue on the YouTube channel Chinmaya Shivam. Right. So see the goodness in others. Transform jealousy into admiration. This jealousy destroys our potential. We have to transform, because if I start seeing goodness, then I will be able to admire things in them. One very nice line my teacher used to tell me, before you see God in others, see the good in others. If I can't see the good in others, how will I see God in others? And for that, I should learn to see good in myself first. That's why I said self-acceptance is the foundation. Self-love and self-acceptance is the foundation of all love. And definitely, please express love. Don't take it for granted. Don't say, why should I say, you already know now. You see, some people, even after some 20, 30 years of their marriage, that spouse still wants you to tell how much you love him or her. Just tell now, what is your problem? Or does that person not know 30 years we have been together? Why that person wants me to tell? Why are you operating out of ego, Baba? If that person wants you to say, I love you, just say it. And say it with feeling. Don't say, okay, okay, I love you. You wanted it, now I gave it to you. Sometimes all these things happen. Don't take it for granted. Bhagwan himself is saying to Arjuna in the 18th chapter, he says, Pratijane priyosi me. Arjun, know that you are very dear to me. Even earlier in 4th chapter he said, not only at the end 18th chapter, even in 4th chapter he said, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti, you are my friend. So I am giving you this top secret. Rahasyam hyetad uttamam. So he already expressed before, the whole Gita is an expression of his love. Bhagwan didn't say, Arjun, you should understand that all this I am doing is out of love for you. My actions are showing love. Why do you need words? Just say it. Bhagwan himself is saying it. Because people have different love language, you see. Somebody wants gifts, somebody wants words, somebody wants you to spend time with them, somebody wants you to do work with them. Different people have different love language. Give what they want. The nature of love is to give. So don't take people for granted. Express your love. Not because you are to assure them. It's just an expression, because expression brings joy. That person also feels happy. You also feel happy. Why do you want to prevent the happiness of both people? Just express. But don't go to extreme also, that every few minutes keep on expressing. Don't go to extremes. Be in the middle. Resenting people for ignoring our rules is absurd. Don't take things personally. So many times we take things very personally. The person has not intended it, but we still take it personally, and we feel they have hurt me, they have insulted me, they have not followed what I said. Some people are like that. I came in the meeting, I gave so many suggestions, but they didn't take my suggestions at all. Next time I'm not going to the meeting. If possible, they would have taken. If not, they would have ignored it. See the larger picture. Why are you there to contribute, and how together we can achieve? Start recognizing your fears instead of others' faults. This is what I said, open up. Instead of finding faults with others, first find out, is there a fear in my head? Is there a wrong notion in my head? And if there are certain fears in a relationship, express. If it's a close relationship, especially where you are, it's an intimate relationship or a close relationship, then express the fear, because then that person also feels you trust them. When we don't express the fear and we have it in our mind and we are trying to find solution, we don't want to express, other person starts doubting, whether that, why is this person not sharing with me? I share everything. This person is not sharing. I don't think this person trusts me. And then starts this, the seeds of mistrust, where one starts doubting. Maybe there's somebody else whom that person trusts more. So many of these things happen. If one becomes transparent, open, expresses, and what prevents me from expressing my fear or opening up or, showing my vulnerable side or asking for forgiveness is my ego. It's only my ego. If I learn to put aside the ego, no problem. How much fight happens in this world for gender equality? Why? Because it's just the ego. One doesn't want to let go. One wants domination, control. That's all ego. So we must learn to express. Even if there are differences, let there be issue-based differences and not personality-based differences. On certain issues, we disagree on a career choice or on a particular event happening in the, let us say, society or community, or certain investment has to be done, or the way in which we tackle certain emotional issues with family, children, whatever it may be. There may be some opinions which differ, and sometimes there is a heated argument also. But then what should I do? Let go. On that, agree to disagree. Let go of the ego. Ki I have to be right always. We don't have to be right always. Sometimes even if we know we are right, we say on this is my opinion. Let us agree to disagree. On the rest of the things, we are happy. See, in Mahabharata is very beautiful. Bhagwan Krishna, do you know that Bhagwan Krishna and Duryodhana are samdhis? That's very, you may be surprised if you read. They are actually samdhis. But on the issue of Mahabharata war, when Bhagwan went, he went as a doot. He says, on this we disagree. I have come with Shanti Doot as a proposal, as a Shanti Doot. And Duryodhana tried to capture him also. And then the war happened. But Bhagwan doesn't brand Duryodhana as completely bad and everything that he does is bad. Same way, Bhagwan doesn't say that Karna is absolutely bad. Each one, he evaluates at what they are, as what they are. And on certain things, there is a difference of opinion. On certain things, they connect also. So let there be issue-based differences, not personality-based differences. Listening is a very important aspect in a relationship. If we are able to listen with full attention, full empathy, compassion, being sensitive, then we will be able to understand the opposite person much better, and listening itself is an expression of love. We don't have to talk also. Today, one of the highest paid professions is who? Psychiatrist. Why? Because they have to listen, because there are people who are not listening. They feel nobody listens to me, or nobody is there even for me to vent out. Each one is in their own hurry, or each one is in their own world, absorbed now with technology and phone, etc. So one is all the more absorbed. People are not available to listen. So listen with full alertness, attention, and not just with the ears. With your whole being, you can listen. Look at their body language. They may be saying something, but their body is showing something else. Especially parents, etc., must learn to listen carefully, because children give out signs. Many parents regret much later, oh, I never knew this, because you were not listening. When there's some drastic thing happens, then they regret. But the child was giving signs before. Just like our body also gives us signs. A terminal disease doesn't happen suddenly. We don't listen to those signs, and then the disease is growing inside, and then it comes to some advanced stage. So listening is very important to tune up. You know, one couple, they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Okay. So they had a party, relatives came, they had a good time, and now this old man, old woman, they are sitting, and this old woman is watching the television, flipping channels, and this old man comes in a romantic mood, and I know he feels 50 years we have spent together, what a great achievement it is, and he remembers his early days, young days. His heart is filled with love. So he looks at his old woman and says, my dear, I love you. Old woman can't hear. She's watching. So this old man says again loudly, my dear, I love you. No response still. So third time he says, my dear, I love you. And the old woman replies, yeah, I know. I am also tired of you. Think about that. Most of the time our relationships, we are listening is like this. There is old woman, old man, maybe they have some issues about hearing, that's a different matter. But The mind of ours is not available to listen. So we should be able to open up and listen, spend time, and also appreciate their different expressions of love. People may express their love by their ways. Not necessarily everybody understands the language of love that we want and always expresses in that way. They maybe do something unique also. So different expressions of love we have to learn to appreciate. And most of the time we don't see the intention. We get stuck with the expression. And we judge the expression. What is the intention? See, as long as we see the intention, we are very happy or not. A small child makes a greeting and brings to the parents and wishes the parents, happy birthday. The greeting may not have much great designs, but the parent loves. Why? Because the intention of the child is full of love. Sometimes the child takes pocket money from the parent only, goes, buys gift and comes and gives to the parent only. But the parent is happy. Why? Because the intention is what matters. So as long as intention we see, expression may be anything. We will be able to understand, appreciate, accept. And these are many things which you will find in the Gita, in the Mahabharata. Beautiful aspects are given about these things, about how to listen, how to adjust, how to accept. Detachment means that. So one is about listening. Second is about speaking also. Speak the truth. Be transparent. Don't be fearful. Speak lovingly. Speak for the benefit and speak measured words. Satyam, priyam, hitam, mitam. Don't tell lies. Don't cover up. Don't tell the truth in a bitter, hurting way. Tell it in a polite, positive way. Tell it if it is beneficial and tell it with certain appropriate use of language and words. Because language has power, words have power, and words will impact and they create emotions also. So it is our responsibility to use appropriate words. Satyam, priyam, hitam, mitam. And don't be impulsive in talking. Don't condemn people. Many times we start firing people. So it is a very simple aspect. If I have to express some criticism, what should I do? Criticize the performance, encourage the performer. Let the criticism be of the performance, not don't criticize the performer. Don't say you are dumb, you are useless, you don't know anything. I told you, but you didn't listen to me. Tell how to improve the performance. Focus on that. Then the performer also will be more empowered to not repeat the mistake again next time. Otherwise, the person will be scared, will not want to do certain things. Don't gossip and do backbiting. Talking behind back is terrible. That shows how much more insecurity is there. And definitely express the expectations. Don't expect people to read your mind. It's all filmy drama, If he or she truly loves me, he or she knows what I really want. And if they give me what I want, then only it means they love me. Hare Rama. Why make people guess so much? No, what is the fun if I have to tell every time? They should do it on their own. That only shows how much they are tuned up with me, how much they love me. Express and ask sometimes. Because sometimes people make attempts, but they don't still realize what you need. Then tell them. Why waste time? See, if it is just a game and it's a sport, that's a different thing. Where you are making people, as a sport or as a game or as an entertainment. But many times it's psychological. One feels affected. One feels the opposite person doesn't love me. So express the expectation. Don't expect people to read minds and, understand and all that. Talk clearly. Now we come to the other part where there is clinging, there is dependency, where we depend on people for our happiness. And that's why we cling. Psychologically, we rely on people and situations for happiness. That dependency is what creates troubles in our life. Because nobody likes to be possessed. We all want freedom. We all want space. So here is a very nice video of Gurudev on what is this attachment.
Renounce all your attachment. In perfect detachment, act on. Now, this 100 times you may read, but we never pause to understand what it is. Attachment is very well known to every one of you. Every one of us have got some attachment or the other. But the attachment of each individual may be different from each other. You are attached to the mother, another is attached to the father, another is attached to the wife, another is attached to the children. Some are attached to their profession, some are attached to power, some are attached to money, wealth. Swamiji, you have never told what my attachment is. I am not attached to all these things. Then in that case you are attached to your dog. That is right. I am attached to my dog. Without some attachment you cannot live. If any one of you say that, Swamiji, I have no attachments, all that I can tell you is, lie down there, after the lectures we will attend to your funeral. Why? When there is no attachment, you are dead. You have no business to remain in this world. Attachment everyone has got. So I am not asking you anything that you don't know. What is God and all that, I am not asking. Every one of you think of your attachment. Whatever be that attachment. And try to verbalize what do you mean by attachment. I am attached to my children. Good. I am attached to my house, my furniture, my jewellery, my saris. I am attached to any stupid thing, a cat, a rat. And the latest in America is my pet rock. That is the latest. Attached to pet rock. Okay. Every one of you have got attachments. Analyze, what do you mean by attachment? Attachment is a feeling. Luckily it is not physical. If physically you and I are attached to things, you can't move about. Because I am attached to my wife and my children and my property and my factory, my business or my house. How can you move? Attached to. It's not physical. It's the mental. Analyze. What do you mean by in the mind an attachment? A mere thought. A stream of thought by which we tie ourselves to things and beings in the world outside. So when I say that I am attached to mother or father, whatever it is, it means that I am complete only with that being or thing, minus that being or thing, I am the less for it. I am not complete in myself. I plus my mother, life is wonderful. Minus my mother, I don't know what to do. I and my wife, beautiful life. Minus my wife, I have no hope of getting another wife. Silly feeling, just a feeling. Thing is called attachment. So attachment is a thought bondage, which means, that thought bondage, what is it? It includes I plus I want. Think again and again before taking down your notes. Think! I plus I want. This feeling towards anything in the world or any being in the world is called attachment. That attachment can be to a dog or a cat or a rat. It can be to your guru or to your father or your mother. It can be to power or money or wealth. Meaning, I and plus I want. that money, then only I am complete. Gone, money gone, I am gone. This kind of a stupid feeling in your mind is called attachment. It is with this attachment that you are tied down from all sides. Attachment is not with one thing. A million things you are attached. Each one is only a stupid feeling that I am not complete and I shall feel complete only with these things A, B, C, D up to Z. This sense of attachment to be liquidated. Make yourself free from these attachments with the world outside. Eh? This is all that the teacher says. Sangham tektva, giving up all your attachments, all your dependency upon the world outside for your survival, for your completeness. Discover your own completeness and fullness.
So Gurudev here explained about love and attachment. Attachment is I plus I want, where I insist that without this I can't be happy. So we confuse love with attachment. Many people say, Swamiji, if I am not attached to my child, how will I be loving? I will become indifferent. See, detachment is not to become indifferent. It is not disinterest. It is possible to be detached and be loving. Why? Because disinterested people say, who cares, why bother? Desperate people will say, if I don't get this, I will die. So that's why they cling in relationship. Detached people say, I love in spite of and not because of. Why? I do what best I can do. And in detachment, there is space. So because of detachment, there is true love, that I love the beloved. In attachment, I am more important. In love, love, the beloved is important. So some differences we should know between attachment and love. Attachment is always because of something. Love is always in spite of. Attachment makes me blind. Love is completely selfless. In attachment, there is selfishness. There is my ego, my image, my opinion. I is much more in that attachment. But in love, there is you. Right. So in attachment, we will see that it is all about receiving. In detachment, it is about giving. So if I love somebody, let us say if my son is not well, if I genuinely love that person, I will do what is the best for that person and I will leave it. I will not be worried all the time, what will happen, what will happen, what will happen, because then I can't even take care of the son properly. If I genuinely love, let us say my son wants to make a choice. If I love and I feel that, that choice is good for the son, the son wants to take up, but there may be risk, etc. I let the child take that decision. That is the freedom that they have. So because it is about the son, it's not about I. That what will society think if my son takes up this decision? What will they perceive about me? In attachment, I is more important. And that's why it is very necessary to be detached and yet be loving. They will go together. To the extent I am attached, to that extent I will be possessive, there will be sorrow. To the extent I am detached, there will be freedom, there will be love. So our sorrow is directly proportional to our attachment. And that's why attachment has to be given up. As a grahasti, if you see, Krishna is a grahasti, Arjuna is a grahasti, and both the grahastis are discussing the knowledge of detachment. Think about that. They are not saying that detachment is meant for sadhu sannyasis. No, while living in the world, the example in the Gita is the leaf, lotus leaf. It is born in water, it stays in water, goes back to water, but it never gets affected by the water. That's how one has to live. So this way, if we learn to live giving space to each other, detachment doesn't mean I stop loving the person. Detachment is not from the person or from loving the person. It is from I. My ego I learn to put aside and let the beloved be more important to me. Then naturally there will be more love. And as I said earlier, if I enjoy the act of giving love, then I don't have a problem. I am happily able to enjoy the very process. I don't take ego. I don't feel that, I am hurt, I am not taken care of, my image, what happened to my prestige. None of that. Because I genuinely love and I want to do what the beloved wants. So the more I detach, the more I can love, because as we saw earlier, love is identification with the beloved. Now, one important point to understand here is this. How to detach? The deepest way to detach is by connecting to Bhagavan. Without love for God, love for man will eventually somewhere or the other become sentimental and become possessive. So it cannot be a true giving because ego is still very strong. Ego completely surrenders once and for all only at the altar of the infinite. And that's why devotion is a very important aspect of the ability to love. Why? Because the source of all love is the Lord. Bhagavan loves us as we are. He doesn't expect us to change. So if the Lord loves us as we are unconditionally, then we will also be able to love when we anchor in the Lord. And that's why bhakti is a very important aspect of love. Generally, people associate bhakti only with religion or with the temples or with some form, with God, some rituals. Those are one aspect only. But really bhakti means the ability to let go of this small I. And so we must cultivate a relationship with that Supreme. Ramakrishna had a relationship of a child with the mother. Mirabai, lover and beloved. Hanumanji, servant and master. You see, Vitthal had a Namdev had a relationship of a friend with Vitthal. So, what is the bhav which is predominant in us, with which we can identify with Bhagavan and then channelize the relationship and understand that is how am I connected to the Lord. At a deeper level, I am not completely different from Bhagavan. I am a part of Bhagavan. And at the deepest level, essentially, God and I are one, not as an individual, as the self. So when I cultivate a certain specific relationship, slowly, I deepen my perception. And through that, I learn to let go of this I. So from Dvaita to Vishishta Dvaita to Advaita is our journey. In Dvaita, there is loneliness because I am separate, God is separate. And I will go on serving. I'm not saying that bhakti of Dvaita is any lesser. If one really completely surrenders to Bhagavan in Dvaita Bhakti, one will come to Advaita only. But I'm saying that body identification, when it is strong, then there is Dvaita. So that is Dvaita Bhakti. Then when mind identification rises and body identification is lesser, then I feel I am not completely different. I am one part, God is the whole. So his qualities are there in me also. So I rise above body identification, holding on to the mind. Then I drop the mind identification by holding on to clear knowledge. Through meditation, I realize essentially we are one. Essentially, my nature is pure love. I don't need to get love. I am of the nature of love. That is the culmination of love, where all differences, dualities just disappear. And so it is, Gurudev used to say that one who knows to give love is a living God upon earth. The measure of our freedom is a measure of our ability to give love. Thereafter, one is never lonely. The whole world is an expression of oneself. That bhakti helps us to reach those heights. So we should grow slowly, steadily from sneha to prema and prem to bhakti. And that is a journey from loneliness to love. So that is where we stop for today. And I just have one announcement to make. And that is that we have Gita chanting competition, which we organize every year. So children learn to chant the Gita. See, so many things we have been learning 4 days are all from the Gita. So we should learn to open our book, read the Gita. So Gurudev gave us a scheme. He said, chant, study, know, live. When we chant the Gita, then we will want to know what is the meaning. So we will study it. When we study and we come to know the knowledge and we reflect upon it, then we want to live it. So Gita chanting is a beautiful sadhana to do. It is not at all very difficult. The script is same script as we have the Hindi script. And we teach this to children across the world. Gita chanting competition happens. But right now I am speaking for specifically Chinmaya Mission Mumbai. So this year we are going to do the Gita chanting competition online. So specifically for Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, those of you who are there, see, small children, they learn the Gita. We go to almost about 300 to 400 schools and we share the competition details, and some 20,000, 13 to 20,000 children, they participate. This year, we are going to do it online. We are sending out messages, share it with the people. And the competition is open for all age groups, right from LKG to senior citizens. Everybody are categorized age group wise, and everybody can learn the Gita chanting, because more the elders also learn. They can help to teach other children and youngsters, and they can also help in judging, and it's their own sadhana. So please learn the Gita chanting. And it is our Shastra. We must learn. If you are not from Mumbai, you can contact your local center. They may be also conducting the competitions. Our area is only Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. And so we have this competition based on second chapter from verses 1 to 38. And please remember, it's an open book competition. You don't even have to memorize. You have to just open the book and read. That's all. And there are learning aids available on our website, chinmayamissionmumbai.com. You can download the shlokas. Each shloka, every line is chanted twice. So once you listen and second time you repeat. So that's how you learn the chanting also. And you register for it. There is no fees. It is a free registration. We want to reach maximum people. So please spread the word. And Jagdish is now going to share that detail here on the group, the registration link. Please register there if you are from Mumbai. If you are not from Mumbai or Navi Mumbai, Kharghar, etc., don't register, because we cannot cater to all of you. You have to ask in your Chinmaya Mission Center locally to participate in their competition. This is for Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. So if you know anybody, please tell them to join from Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, and download the learning aid from the website and participate. The whole competition also will be done online. And in case you want to support us in this, because prizes are given, certificates are given, many things are given, and there's a certain cost also involved in it. If you want to support this free Gita chanting competition, then there is a payment link also, which Jagdish is going to share, which you can click on and support us through whatever donations you like. So please do participate, encourage children, youngsters, elders from Mumbai, Navi Mumbai to participate. More details you will see on our website, all the different age groups which are there. For very small children who don't know to read, it is memorizing. So LKG, UKG, they memorize, but it's only like 3-4 shlokas. So please do encourage. Let us learn the Gita and live the Gita, chant the Gita, know the Gita. Thank you very much.
A false sense of separateness, fall in love with love, detach and attach to the higher. Swamiji, as always, thank you. A very insightful path from loneliness to love. If I may, Swamiji, with your permission, today on Teachers' Day, we offer our salutations and prostrate to Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda and the Guru Shishya Parampara. Gurudev said, and I quote, "The reward of a true teacher is not just money, but the sense of fulfillment in having molded and trained future citizens who will contribute to the glorious history of their community or nation." Unquote. On behalf of all the people on Zoom, Swamiji, as well as Facebook and YouTube, and many more other watching all around, I offer our salutations to you as our teachers. So, Pranam, Swamiji.
Namaskar.
We will be having the Aarti shortly, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our Yajmans, the Satsang Yajmans, I repeat, Mrs. Deepika Bakshi and Mr. Sunil Gambani, and our Gita Aarti Yajman, Mr. Udayan. Look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow for the 5th day of our talk in the Smile series, where the topic Swamiji will guide us on ego to ecstasy. I now request Sujata to follow up with some of the balance announcements for the evening.
So I invoke God's grace, Gurudev's blessings for all the daily Yajmans as well as the Aarti Yajman. May the grace of the Lord, blessings of the whole Guru Parampara be on them and their whole families. May they experience peace, prosperity, happiness. May they stay safe and may they be protected. Thank you for supporting us. Sujata ji.
Hari Om. We saw the Chinmaya Yuva Kendra video in the beginning. Jagdish, please put up the contact list. So here is the number. If you're interested in the activities, you can inquire at this number. And we also, here, this one, you can note it down or you can take a picture. There are also books related to this age group. One of them is Gita for Yuva. This takes select verses from the Bhagavad Gita and shares their meaning and gives practical ways to apply it. The other two books, Art of Man Making, there are 2 volumes in that, 1 and 2. They contain short talks given by Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda on verses from the Bhagavad Gita, which are relevant even today. You can find these books and many other books for all other age groups at eshop.chinmayamission.com. Now you'll have the Gita Aarti.
Before we begin with that, if I might, if any of you have any questions for Swamiji, we will follow that up with a question and answer session, and Swamiji will be happy to take your questions.
Om Jai Bhagavad Gita, Maya Jai Bhagavad Gita, Hariya Kamala Vihari, Sundar Sukunite, Om Jai Bhagavad Gita, Karma Sumarma Prakashini, Kama Sakti Hara, सब विधि सुखकारी
All right. Are there any questions? You can raise your hand and ask. Yes, Amrit.
Yes, Swamiji. Of course, generally, sometimes people feel themselves lonely since a long time, say childhood, because of their incompatible skills of vasanas, like incompatible interpersonal skills. Like, say, if you were playing cricket, you were poor at fielding. It happens, and I was almost a loner since a very long time, and even sometimes even mind says that we should meet them, but intellect says that I should identify different kinds of people around me. Do the scriptures help us to do it? Like, say, some of them may sound friendly, but they may be cunning. They might be honey-edged sword kind of type. Like, say, some of them may have, speak sweetly, but they might be cunning. Most of them would be indifferent. Some of them may be harsh, but they may be genuinely concerned, doing wrong actions. How do we identify different people around us and be careful while spreading the love, as you had said?
So the values that are given, that is one aspect which helps us. Scriptures give many values by which we can identify. Also, if we cultivate a certain level of sattva guna, the scriptures have enough points to tell us how to cultivate sattva guna. We discussed also those 10 points in the earlier talk. If we cultivate sattva guna, the sattva guna pradhan person will be able to identify very easily, very quickly and very fast that, okay, here there is some disparity. So the more integrated I am, the more easier it will also be for me to be smart and understand people very fast. So sattva guna is helping us to do that. So if these two aspects we follow, certain values when we anchor in and we see, okay, this is not happening appropriately, or there is a certain compromise happening or a certain attitude I identify, then I will know. And second is I must increase my sattva guna and my capability to discriminate. And third, of course, by experience also, time will teach us a lot of things. Scriptures tell us 25% of learning happens by time. 25% with the teacher, 25% by one's own reflection, 25% by group discussion, and 25% by time. So time also will teach.
Hello.
Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes, Mihika.
Yeah, this question is regarding the topic when you were saying rise in love, where you are saying that because of fear, that in love, because of fear, we might not be able to tell another person that he or she is doing something wrong. What if this fear is I want to tell somebody that he or she is doing wrong, but I am scared that that person can get aggressive or is not taking it in the right initiative, or is causing harm to himself or herself. Then how do I deal with that kind of relationship, or how do I rise in that kind of a love?
See, my point was about fear was that because of fear, we are not able to open up ourselves. That was first point. We go into a shell because of fear and we hide. We are not transparent. I was talking in that context. So that is one point. Second point is, yes, there may be people who may not respond appropriately. So I should find out, first of all, whether it's in my duty to do. Do I need to say that to that person and give a feedback? If I feel that yes, it is my duty, I have to give a feedback. Now, if I understand the nature of a person, can I also be smart enough to find out which is the way by which that will be accepted? The point is not me telling only. Point is that the person should get a feedback. It could be through somebody else, with whom the person is more receptive, or it could be in a certain specific way which makes that person receptive to understand, like by making them understand that it is only a feedback, it is up to them whether they like or not. and it is not that we think any less about them. So make them secure, make them feel that, you know, I still respect you, trust you, love you as you are. This is just a feedback. If you want to take, you take it. So the way in which we express also, like we said, you know, Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada. Say it politely, say it lovingly, say it nicely. Also find out ways which will influence their thinking. If there are some people whom they look up to, maybe through them it can be said. Or maybe a feedback can be just generally given to that person without you being involved in that, in an impersonal way, maybe through some anonymous email or whatever it may be. Or last thing is, be ready to deal with the consequences. If that person is going to be aggressive, be ready to deal with it, but explain that this is what it is, it's for your good, what I'm trying to share with you. And then whatever happens, one has to deal with it. So make oneself strong and bold and then face it. So I think these are few methods which are possible. Manisha Bansal.
हरिओम गुरुजी.
Yes, हरिओम.
मेरा प्रश्न थोड़ा कठिन भी है, लेकिन जैसा कि आप कह रहे हैं कि लव में, प्यार में ईगो को छोड़ देना चाहिए, लेकिन कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि पेरेंट्स या भाई बहन या स्पाउस या फिर इन लॉज, या जहाँ पे कई बार ऐसा होता है कि जो पर्सन ज्यादा एडजस्टिंग होते हैं या वो ईगो नहीं रखते हैं, आपकी बात का बुरा नहीं मानते हैं, तो लोग उनके साथ वैसा ही व्यवहार करते रहते हैं। परिवार में भी जाने में अनजाने में उनको हर्ट करते रहते हैं। तो ऐसी सिचुएशन में क्या कर सकते हैं, कुछ उस पर बताइए प्लीज।
See, being egoless does not mean I can't be assertive.
जी.
We can express what we have to express firmly, assertively also. Being egoless does not mean allow people to take us for a ride. Chanakya was not a person who could be taken for a ride. Krishna was not a person who could be taken for a ride. Being egoless meaning that I don't act out of attachments and aversions and prejudices. I act out of love. What is in the interest of the relationship, what is good for everyone, I act out of that, and where I have to put my foot down, I put my foot down. Like I can, like a mother can tell certain things to a child out of ego or out of love. So that choice we have to make. And even if the mother is saying out of the love, child knows sometimes that I can't take mother for granted because the mother is very firm. On certain things there is no compromise. So our motive is what matters. It is not that externally we allow people to do whatever with us. No, that is not what is meant.
पर इसमें यही बात है स्वामी जी की, जो हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स का एक जो डिस्टॉर्शन है, वहां पे बच्चे और माता पिता दोनों ये सोचते हैं कि बच्चों ने वापस प्रश्न नहीं करना चाहिए कोई चीज के लिए। और मैं अभी कहीं और भी गीता का इलेबोरेशन डिस्कोर्स से सुन रही हूँ, किन्हीं और स्वामी जी का, तो उसमें कहा गया है कि गीता कहती है कि गुरु से डिस्कस करो, डिबेट करो, अच्छी भावना से, रिस्पेक्टफुली बात करते हुए उन्हें प्रश्न कीजिए और अपने कॉन्सेप्ट को समझने की कोशिश कीजिए। ये नहीं गुरु ने कह दिया ईगो मत रखो तो बस अब आप चुप हो गए, आप वापस पूछ नहीं रहे। ये हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स में कहा गया है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ जो प्रोपेगेट हुआ है कॉमन धारणा जो है, और ये मिड लाइफ के लोगों के साथ में थोड़ा अभी हम लोग यही फेस करते हैं कि पेरेंट्स ये सोचते हैं कि तुम हमसे वापस सवाल जवाब क्यों कर रहे हो। और कई बार बहुत सारे हमारे जैसे लोग, अपने बच्चे भी जब हमसे प्रश्न पूछते हैं तो हम सोचते हैं देखो क्या जमाना आ गया, ये बच्चे हमसे वापस सवाल कर रहे हैं। जबकि ये क्लैरिटी मुझे अभी इस उम्र में आके मिली है कि अगर, जैसा कि आपने कहा, आपका मोटिव क्या है। आज मैं आपसे प्रश्न कर रही हूँ तो मैं आपके नॉलेज को क्वेश्चन नहीं कर रही हूँ, मैं मेरा डाउट क्लियर करने के लिए अगर आपसे प्रश्न करती हूँ तो वो प्रश्न अच्छा है। लेकिन ये धारणा रहती नहीं है। ज्यादातर जो बड़े और छोटे के रिलेशनशिप में प्रॉब्लम आती है, चाहे सिबलिंग्स हो, चाहे इन लॉज हो, चाहे पेरेंट्स हो, वो ये सोचते हैं कि आप उनको क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं।
वो ही ना, दैट्स बिकॉज दे टेक इट पर्सनली और उनको लगता है वैसा। लेकिन जैसे आपने कहा, हमारे सभी शास्त्र प्रश्न उत्तर के रूप में ही है ना, तो प्रश्न पूछने में कोई आपत्ति है ही नहीं। गीता में भी कृष्ण भगवान को अर्जुन ने कितने प्रश्न पूछे। भगवान तो ये नहीं कह रहे कि मैं भगवान हूं, मैं जो तुमको कह रहा हूँ चुपचाप सुनो। लेकिन ये धारणाएं हैं, आपने जैसे कहा, वो गलत धारणाएं हैं और उसको तोड़ना चाहिए। और वो कब टूटेगा? जब लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा ये समझेंगे कि ज्ञान के लिए प्रश्न बहुत आवश्यक है, प्रश्न के बिना ज्ञान प्राप्त हो ही नहीं सकता है। और
जी।
पर्सनैलिटी वो लोग ना लें और इशू ना बनाए उसका, क्योंकि अगर जब हमारे पास ज्ञान नहीं है और बच्चे पूछते हैं तो हमको लगता है कि अरे बच्चे हमारे बारे में कब सोचेंगे कि ये क्या है, इनको कुछ पता ही नहीं है, तो हमारी इमेज उनके आंखों में कम हो जाएगी। तो ये सब ईगो का व्यवहार है, तो इसीलिए व्यक्ति ये सब करता है। लेकिन जिसमें ज्ञान होता है, जो समझता है कि अगर मुझे नहीं पता है तो मैं बच्चे को कह सकता हूँ कि मुझे नहीं पता, मैं ढूंढ के बता दूंगा आपको।
जी।
बच्चे में भी आपके लिए आदर बढ़ेगा, रेस्पेक्ट बढ़ जाएगा, लेकिन वो उतनी
हाँ, ये
परिपक्वता
हमारे
नहीं।
हाँ, मैं पहली बार इस तरह हर एक सेशन में सवाल प्रश्न करने के बारे में मैंने सोचा इस बार, क्योंकि मैंने गीता में ये सुना। नहीं तो जो भी प्रवचन वो चुप से सुन के हाँ हाँ गुरु बता रहे हैं, आंखें बंद करके सुन लो, क्योंकि बचपन से यही कहते हैं बड़ों से प्रश्न नहीं पूछिए। ये धारणा को अभी मैं चेंज कर रही हूँ, इसके लिए आपसे रोज एक प्रश्न पूछती हूँ ताकि उस ज्ञान को अच्छी तरह उसका अर्जन कर सके अपने मन में। धन्यवाद गुरुजी, बहुत बहुत।
अब इनका नाम क्या है पता नहीं, 88443638 कुछ जो भी है, आप जरा अपना नाम बताएं और पूछें प्रश्न।
हाँ गुरुजी, मैं वर्षा।
हाँ बताइए।
अच्छा, मैं ये पूछ रही थी, आपने जो गुरुजी का क्लिप बताया ना, तो उसमें लिखा था ना, मीन्स बताया कि अटैचमेंट शुड बी देयर एंड मीन्स the attachment should be there, and without attachment there is no life, correct? And now means when we are learning that there is a difference between attachment and real love and care and all, so just थोड़ा confusing था, can you clear it?
नहीं, वो कंफ्यूजन स्वाभाविक है, लेकिन उस क्लिप का उद्देश्य क्या है, गुरुदेव ने कहा, अंत में उन्होंने क्या कहा, और उस क्लिप का उद्देश्य क्या था कि बी डिटैच्ड। उसमें संगम त्यक्त्वा धनंजय श्लोक जो है गीता का, उस पर गुरुदेव उदाहरण दे रहे थे और उसका उन्होंने विस्तार किया। तो शुरुआत में जब उन्होंने कहा कि विदाउट अटैचमेंट नोबडी कैन बी देयर, उसका मतलब यह है कि स्वाभाविक स्थिति हमारी ऐसी है कि हमारे मन में आसक्ति उत्पन्न होती है और बिना आसक्ति के हमारा मन रहता नहीं है। लेकिन जैसे जैसे हम आध्यात्मिक साधना करते हैं, ज्ञान प्राप्त करते हैं, तो धीरे धीरे हम निसंग हो जाते हैं। तो हमको आसक्ति से अनासक्ति की तरफ बढ़ना है, तो वो आसक्तियों का हमको जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं देना है। तो वो क्लिप में गुरुदेव का प्रयोजन यही था कि हमारी ये स्थिति हो सकती है अभी कि हमारे जीवन में कोई ना कोई आसक्ति जरूर होगी, लेकिन उससे हमको ऊपर उठना है। तो उनका प्रयोजन ये था।
ओके, थैंक यू गुरुजी।
अनंता।
Hari Om Swamiji. So my question is that when you said love has only giving, so be detached. जब आपने love and attachment का एक टेबल बनाया, तो उसमें मुझे एक क्वेश्चन है कि attachment is one thing. Attachment में ठीक है, will feel lonely. But कभी-कभी क्या होता है, when you are saying that sees the need of the beloved and stuff, उसमें अपने मन को बहुत मारना होता है. I mean in the sense like why is a person lonely? Because see, the person whom you love doesn't love you back. But one question is that the person whom you love doesn't even want you to express love towards him. So expression को मारना पड़ता है. So like say a mother and child example. ठीक है ना, अब माँ को बहुत मन है कि मैं बच्चे को प्यार करूं, बच्चे से बार बार खाने के लिए पूछूं, कुछ करूं, ठीक है, लेकिन बच्चा पलट के is rude to the mother, मेरे से बार बार मत पूछा करो. But for the mother, so the child is probably feels this, but for the mother it becomes a matter of curbing her love or curbing her expression. तो फिर इसका ऐसे में क्या करना चाहिए? And even on the whole, because one wants to be loved and give love, no? But आप तो giving love is in the sense of expressing love. तो अगर वो करने से रोक दोगे तो व्यक्ति अपने आप ही एकाकी हो जाएगा ना?
तो हमने क्या बोला प्रवचन में, जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे, तो उसमें एक पॉइंट आया था ना, एप्रिशिएट द डिफरेंट एक्सप्रेशंस ऑफ लव, एक पॉइंट. दूसरा पॉइंट, लर्न द लैंग्वेज ऑफ ऑपोजिट पर्सन्स लव एंड गिव अकॉर्डिंगली. तो ये दो चीजें हमने बात की. तो पेरेंट हैज टू लर्न, इफ द चाइल्ड हैज ग्रोन अप, You show your love in other ways also. You don't have to ask only about food, and you don't have to take it personally ki, my child doesn't love me because the child has back answered ki, don't ask me about food. So the child has said, don't ask me about food. Okay, don't ask about food. Whenever the child needs, then child will come automatically. Bhook lagegi tab aa hi jayega wo. So I can express my love in different ways. So issue is not about food. Issue is about how to express love. Find other ways to express. Why take it personally and feel hurt and feel bad? No need. If the child has grown mature enough and the child can understand other ways of love, show through other ways. Simple. And sometimes if the child wants space, give the space to the child. That is also expression of love only. So it depends on how you express your love. The expressions change by people changing. And the person who loves understands the beloved and will change the expression. So we are not saying stop completely. And also understand their appreciation of expression of love may be different. Then you won't feel not loved. So both ways if we handle, then it should be fine. And also that expectation that I have to love this person, that person has to love in this way, that has to be dropped. They may not love in the way we want. Or sometimes they may not love at all. Parent-child is a different relationship, but in other relationships, they may not even love you back. So, as I said, if you start loving the very act of loving, that is the best way to love. Then you leave them, find there will be other people. If I open up my mind, I can get love from everywhere. I am only stuck with this person in this way, then that is the cause of sorrow. I have to open up. Bhagwan's love is there every moment, expressing through hundreds and thousands of ways towards us. We can identify with those. Last question. Sonali Kapoor.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Swamiji, sometimes in life you feel like being alone. You feel like being alone, and because every time you are contemplating or something, you're thinking about something or going through some scriptures and all. So does that mean that I am selfish? Because many times children say, oh, you don't call up, you don't say, we are worried and all. But sometimes you like to be alone, you want to be by yourself. Does that mean that you are selfish?
No, to have your own time is nothing selfish, but if it is a part of your duty, then be in touch with them and explain to them that these are the times where I will be with myself, rest of the time I will contact you. So they communicate so that they are not left wondering what has happened, why are you not communicating, or they don't feel suddenly you are become disinterested. So communicate, and if you have specific times, you explain also that I am engaging in these things, these are important to me. So for this much time, I need my time and space. Apart from that, I will come back to you, I will contact you. So then their mind is also at peace. And if you express your love properly to them at other times, they won't feel insecure. If you have withdrawn at a certain time for your study or your reflection or whatever deeper thing you are doing, and then when you come out of that in the relationship, they feel you are completely different, you don't care anymore at all, then they will get insecure. But if you are loving, if you are sensitive, and you are able to express your love, do your duties, etc., then they don't have a problem. And sometimes it is also to make them understand certain dependencies, so certain things help you also to become independent. So they also
sometimes
will
you feel sometimes Swamiji, you feel that let us be detached. Too much of attachment also it sometimes gives you pain. So sometimes you also feel that let me be by myself, let them also understand.
See, that's why I'm saying the attitude with which you withdraw is important. It's not out of fight, of resentment, of being upset. As I explained earlier, detachment is not to stop loving or to stop expressing the love. It is only to drop my I and drop my expectations and my insistence. So that is detachment. So it makes the heart more loving only. It should not be out of resentment and anger and being upset and all that. If it is done in a healthy way, there's a balance of detachment and love. That is all has to be attained.
Thank you. Dhanyavad.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We conclude for today and we will meet tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi